Yes, people. We are back up here at Not a Pookie podcast right here on the Black Non-Democrat YouTube channel. Early in the morning, I'm hitting you guys with the morning show, and it's going to be a magnificent show today because we got blessed with a rare gem in the last couple of days. Yes, we have. And if you guys are in here, please make sure that you hit that like button. I want as much people in here as possible, even on the playback, baby. And on top of that, if you enjoy content like this and you enjoy us breaking down facts, common sense, logic, reason, and getting all of those emotions, those feminine emotions up out of us, please, if you like this, please join the channel. Not just join the channel, comment in the comment section, like the videos, share the videos, and give me your feedback because this is always a growing channel, baby. I'm a small channel, but I'm a growing channel. And on today, like I said, we got blessed with a gem on the Breakfast Club, and they set themselves up for this. I'm like, wow, like they really thought this man was going to come on their platform and just not be prepared. That's what they thought. But as we all seen, and if you haven't seen it, you're going to watch it on today's show on Not a Pookie podcast. Now, look, if you're watching this on the playback, you're probably watching it in cuts because I'm gonna leave this up here because I'm not going to be able to get monetized for this because we're going deep diving into this interview. We're gonna watch this whole interview. This interview is like an hour, and we're gonna dissect everything. We're gonna look at everything. We're gonna watch the buffoonery coming from the Breakfast Club. We're gonna watch the ignorance. We're gonna watch all of the glory of breaking down facts. Now, I'm not a big Larry Elder fan, okay? I am not that at all. Miss Brown is in the building. Good morning to you. She is coming from Delaware, baby. My mother back in 2002 went to Delaware, the casino, for her anniversary. No, her wedding. It was her wedding night. Yeah, they went there, but that guy was a pookie, so whatever. He was a pookie. I hate Donnell Howard. If you guys know him, Donnell Howard, he's a bitch ass motherfucker. But he used to beat my mother, and my little brother had to, me and my little brother had to, do something to him. But at the end of the day, Delaware is cool with me. Hey, man, I watched this video last night. I watched this interview, and if you guys have not seen this interview, woo, man, when you talk about unicorns are, we don't know if they're real, but if they are real, they're rare. And it's rare that you get to see in real time how liberals their minds, when facts and logic and common sense and reason is getting inundated in their mind, I swear, you as a conservative black person myself, when you see that, you just chuckle, you just laugh, you're like, because you see it. You see them percolating in their mind like, he's killing me right now, but I gotta still fight. I gotta still fight against logic. I still gotta fight. I gotta fight. And you guys gonna see that on today's show. I swear it's probably been the best show I ever do in my life. And I gotta work tonight. But I said, you know what? I'm not gonna wait till tomorrow when I'm off on the weekend. I gotta give my people this right now. And if you've seen the video I put out last night, it was just a little snippet of how Larry Elder just handled the shit out of Charlemagne the God based upon Joe Biden saying you ain't black if you vote for Biden. But let me see how I sound here on YouTube. I sound great. I sound great. But if I do have audio problems, you guys just let me know. Let me know, and I will try to fix that. Without further ado, baby, I know you guys been like, let's go, Dutch. Come on, let's go. We about to go right now into this interview of Larry Elder on The Breakfast Club, where he never, ever got loud. He stayed calm. And he answered everybody's question, just like Tommy Sotomayor whenever he goes on a show. But without further ado, let's look at it. And I'm not going to be playing it all the way through, you guys. We're going to, I'm going to jump in when I need to jump in, but let's get it. If I can get it right all the time, I swear I think when I pause it, it just does its thing, but we're about to get into it right now. Let's go.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlemagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We have Teslin Figueroa with us, and we got a special guest in the building.
Y'all make sure you hit those like buttons. Hit that like button, baby. I'm not getting paid for this video. It's probably going to get copyrighted. I know it is. So if you can, go right up there. Bam, bam, bam. At the donation cash app, Dutch the Creator. Put $1, put $2, put $3, put $100, put $500 in there if you want to. That'll be great, but don't give it to YouTube. Don't do that super chat because I really don't get none of that money. I get probably 40% of that money, not even that, and then it goes into some other shit. But you go to that cash app, come on, baby. Come on, baby. You put $1 in there, I'm going to get that whole dollar. Let's go.
2024 Republican presidential candidate, Larry Elder. Welcome, brother.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
He does more than that, though. I mean, he was a radio host.
Radio host for 40 years.
Author, TV host.
Author, host.
New York Times best-selling list. I've got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Corner of Hollywood and Vine, southeast corner, just saying.
Okay.
I didn't know you had a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, man.
Yeah, about a handful of radio guys do, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, I think it's you, Elvis Duran,
Angie
Howard
Martinez.
Stern,
Yeah.
Big Boy. Oh, Angie
Martinez.
A guy named Arthur Godfrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. Why are you running for president?
Well, I'm running as an America First mega guy, and we have an America First mega guy running, obviously. So the question is, what do you bring to the table?
You said MAGA.
MAGA.
Okay.
And the answer is, I bring a lot of issues to the table that I feel are side.
Will I Am 79 coming from Alaska. I don't even think I ever had an audience member from Alaska, but you're here today. And if you like this content, please make sure that you hit that like button and hit that subscribe so you can get all those notifications. No, you got to hit that bell for all those notifications. Let's go.
I does not talk enough about, if at all. For example, the number one social problem in America by far is the epidemic not of COVID, but of fatherlessness. 70% of black kids today enter the world without a father in the home, married to the mother, up from 25% back in 1965. Now 25% of white kids enter the world today without a father in the home, married to the mother. And the stats are clear. Even Barack Obama once cited them. If you're raised without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail.
Let me tell you guys something. That's why I started, not a POOKIE podcast. That's why I started this channel, the Black Non-Democrat YouTube channel. And I mainly talk about what he just said. I push and fight against the glorification and pushing of single motherhood onto the black community. And Larry Elder is going to break it down to the least common denominator for you. And if you guys just go and look on my channel, I got over 400 videos. It should probably be about 500 videos right now where I'm breaking down the same things that he's talking about, but I'm breaking them down. I'm breaking them down from each other way. I got a playlist called The Mothers Choosing Deadbeat Dads for POOKIE and Ray Ray. I got a playlist called The Sons of Single Mothers, and I got a playlist called The Daughters of Single Mothers where I break it down. He's just going to give you the surface. I give you the in-depth understanding of it, but let's go.
It's happened. In the mid-'60s, with I think the best of intentions, a Democrat named Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. And since then, we have incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. You know, when I say this to people, the pushback I get is, well, there are lots of things that are going on, systemic racism, poverty. Here's the
Charleston Singleton says, that's not true. 69% of black people have 2 homes? What do you mean? What? And if you mean are in 2-parent homes, you're definitely not true. He's not telling the truth, and you are not. 69%? Hold on, bruh. Charleston Singleton. Come on, man. Where you get these numbers from? Where the hell? 69. I hope that's not a typo, but I'm just going to go off what you said. You said 69.4% of black people have 2 homes. Bruh or sis. Bruh, Charleston. You out your motherfucking mind. So you telling me damn near 70% of black people, boy. But how? I mean, how, bruh? Like, look, 57% of black women with children has some type of public assistance. I'm just gonna give you that stat. Larry Elder, he gives you a lot. I'm just gonna use that one stat, which is true. Some type of public assistance. Not saying they not employed or whatever. What I'm saying is, bruh said. So you telling me 57% of black women with children are on some type of public assistance? You telling me at least some of them got 2 houses? Boy, bye. I'm out. I don't even want, boy.
problem. If you look at a young black male aged 10 to 43, that's young to me because I'm 71 years old. A young black man in that demo is 13 times more likely to be murdered than a young white man, same demo. Young black man, real young, 19 and under, the number 1 cause of preventable death is homicide, almost always at the hands of another young black male. Same demo for whites, the number 1 cause of preventable death is unintentional deaths. That includes drug overdoses, automobile accidents, drownings. It's not until they get to number 4 that death is the cause. In America, 60% of the shootings, the robberies, and the homicides are committed by black people, often against other black people. Of the homicides in this,
I don't think y'all really hear what he's saying. Like, I know he's throwing out a bunch of numbers, but he said 60% of violent crimes, period, in America are done by black individuals. 60% of all crime, that is amazingly crazy. Because if we're just talking about young black males, that's probably like 4% of the population committing 60% of the crimes. Let's go.
country, half of them are black victims, almost all killed by other blacks. How do you explain that if it isn't for the absence of fathers? Are you prepared to say black people are just genetically inclined to commit more crime? I doubt it.
My daughter gave me this. She went to Daytona Beach. I'm a proud daddy, and that's what he's talking about on today's show, daddies. Make sure y'all hit that like button if you're in here, please.
And the go-to reaction often is poverty and systemic racism. Here's the problem. 1940, when there was blatant racism, this is before Brown versus Board of Education, before the Civil Rights Act of 64, KKK was still alive and well, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Now it's about 14%. You can't blame it on poverty. You can't blame it on racism. It is the breakdown of the nuclear intact family, and neither side is talking about it. The left doesn't talk about it because they caused it with the welfare state, and our side does not talk about it because if you're white, you'll be accused of dissing single moms who are heroically raising these kids, or you'll be accused of being a racist, or if you're black, you'll be accused, as I was by the LA Times, of being the black face of white supremacy. Nobody's talking about that. I am.
What did
Honest person came in, and she's such an honest person when she said this, and she said something else that I'm going to get to as well. She said, look around. You don't even need statistics. You don't. It's called anecdotal evidence, meaning what you grew up in and what you know to be true. And this is the thing. I always said, you guys, look at your highest entertainers, right? Just look at your highest entertainers. That is the mirror to your culture. Who is on top right now? Come on. Sexy Red is on top right now. Who was on top 2 years ago? Meg the Stallion was on top 2 years ago. Who was on top before that? Cardi B was on top. Who was on top before Cardi? We had Remy Ma, who just came home from doing 8 years in prison for shooting someone. Who was on top before that? Nicki Minaj. And I fuck with Nicki Minaj. Mixtape Nicki Minaj. And then she turned into a Barbie. At the end of the day, people, that is what we have. And that goes to the second comment that Miss Honest Person said. The internet praises toxic rap behavior, then turn around and blame whites. The thing is, what's I just telling you, you have toxic ass hip hop that's destroying the whole culture of hip hop, and we look at Trump as being a bad guy, right? Where every rapper put Trump in their songs before he became president. Yes, they did. And guess what? Which Larry Elder is going to break down, that they're not even going to acknowledge after he says it. But Trump helped black people. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Matter of fact, he's the only president that actually helped black people unemployment, school, incarceration, getting them home. But we don't want to talk about that because we're not an honest person like this lady right there. Thank you, ma'am.
What are the reasons, if your statistics are right, what are the reasons that you think fathers aren't in the home?
He said, if your statistics is right. Honest Person just said, look around. You don't need the statistics. And Charlemagne know goddamn well what he's talking about is true. But he want to throw jabs early on in the game where that man just explained his position. Envy asked him, why do you want to run for president? Bam, that's why he said it. If that was Kamala Harris or if that was Joe Biden and they said anything they wanted to say about why they running for president, which Joe Biden already just said, hey, you got to get Trump out. He didn't even question that man on it. But he says something that's very, very, very valid in our community, and that's the number one thing. Fatherlessness is the number one thing that's keeping our people down. And this man is going to gloss over that to say if those statistics was right. Nigga, you know those statistics. Boy, God damn.
As I said, it's because in the mid-'60s, Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. In Charlemagne, literally, they sent social workers door to door in the inner city. I remember this, advising women of the availability of welfare provided there was no man in the house. It created an economic incentive for women to marry the government. Same thing with whites. In 1965, 8% of whites entered the world without a father in the home married to the mother. Now it's about 25%, also up threefold. Look at census data, 1910, 1920, 1930, in places like Milwaukee, Chicago, Philadelphia, a young black kid was slightly more likely to be brought into a world with a father in the home married to the mother than a young white kid. We have incentivized this kind of bad behavior, and it's had a disproportionately bad effect on the black community.
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong, Larry Elder?
What do you mean, what do white people do?
Oh my God. I was driving while I was listening to this, you guys. Larry Elder just broke down some essential facts that are a detriment to our community that he's trying to bring to a national That's right. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that name, man. But that's right, deflection. Dude, this man broke down in detail. He broke it down. And your response to that, as a black man, you sound like a bitch. So what about white people? What they do? What white people be doing? Yeah, we ain't got no daddies in the house. And, yeah, you know, our single mothers can't take care of these kids, and they grow up to be Pookie and Ray Ray. But what about these white people? What these white people be doing? Sir Tice, I like it. I like it. I like how you just broke that down for me. Thank you, man. And I hate not being able to pronounce people's names because, y'all, I was hooked on phonics in 7th grade. I could not read. I swear to God, I could not read to 7th grade because I was hooked on phonics. And that's the failed democratic fucking school system in America. The city fucking schools. That's what it was. God damn it. But I taught myself. At the end of the day, man, look. Wow. He really deflected. He said, what do white people do? What the fuck are you talking?
I found this on the web for He Said What About. Check it out.
I have Surrey just pop up on my computer every once in a while. But he says, what about white people? And Larry Elder says this.
I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe there's
No,
systemic
there
racism?
used to be, obviously. Tell me what you think the number one systemic.
Jazir says they was playing with a mold of a butt. They've been sold out on top of so many other issues. Yeah, I swear, bruh. It's like, and people actually go to the Breakfast Club for vital information. That's like the blind leading the blind. And it's so sad. It's so sad because it's either one or two things. Either these guys are just brainwashed because all of them are college educated. All of them understands exactly what he's saying. It's either they understand what he's saying and they're just trying to keep our people at low level intelligence, or they just are the same as majority of black people. They just really don't get it. They just really don't get it. Because I see, if you were trying to critique this man and ask this man some questions based upon policies, but what you're doing is just chastising this man. You're listening to just respond to this man, and you're not trying to understand what he's saying about fathers not being in these children's lives and that being a detriment. At the end of the day, when my mother called my father on some shit, even though he wasn't in the house with us, I knew who my father was, and I knew what he would do if my mother told him about some fuck shit that I just did. And that would deter me from doing it again or doing it in the first place. That's what Larry Elder is trying to get these motherfuckers to understand. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. What they want to do is keep deflecting based upon their emotions and based upon getting fed bullshit from the Democratic Party.
Example of systemic racism is in America.
Oh man, there's so many.
Just give me the most important one you think.
But at the top of mind, I'll probably maybe say mass incarceration. Maybe.
Really? During the Great Depression, when 50% of black adults were unemployed, you didn't have this kind of mass incarceration. It's the breakdown of the family. There's a direct.
I'm not going to. I agree with the family part. I'm a black man who is a father to his children, and I'm a happily married black man to a black woman. So I'm never going to argue with that part, you know. But I just feel like everything is black with you. Black is wrong. Black people do this and black people do that. And when I ask you what white people do wrong, you said you're not worried about white people at all.
I'm talking about the damage, disproportionate damage going on in the black community. For example, look at these smash and grabs that are taking place in Los Angeles, where I live. There's a suburb called Glendale, where at a mall recently, a mob of 30 to 40 people, they had masks on, but one guy got popped. He was a black, and I think most of those who were doing this were black. And in recent years and times, there have been a number of these in places like Chicago, places like New York. If I were involved in something like that, Charlemagne, I grew up with a dad, just as you're raising your own children. I would have been more afraid of my father than I would about the cops catching me. These kids are afraid of neither. They don't have a father in the home. Cops are demoralized. They're pulling back. Their manpower is short. And as a result, you tell a bad guy you're less likely to be caught, convicted, incarcerated, crime goes up. They may be criminals, but they're not stupid. When you say, what do white people do? I mean, this is a country that has struggled mightily to get over its historic racism. There was a civil war. There was a big civil rights movement. This is the only majority white country that's ever elected a black president, let alone reelected a black president. The three biggest cities in America are New York, Chicago, LA. They all have black mayors, even though no city has a majority of black population. The president of Harvard is a black female. Martin Luther King in 1966, Charlemagne, gave an interview to the BBC. This is 2 years after the Civil Rights Act of '64 got passed. And he said, I'm amazed at how many positive changes there have been in America in the last 2 years. Why, if things keep going like this, we could have a black president in about 40 years' time. Do the math. Right on cue, Barack Obama elected 2008. He didn't say there'll be a black female president of Harvard, and there has been. He didn't say there are going to be black CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and there have been several. He didn't say the percentage of the House would equal the percentage of black people in the population, and it does. He didn't say the three largest cities would have black mayors, and they do. He didn't say the...
Y'all, I had a channel, and we're going to get back to it. Y'all know I just got to jump in every once in a while. And if you're coming in here or finding my channel for the first time, please make sure that you hit that like button so someone else can find the channel as well. And if you're feeling this content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can get all those notifications. Now, the thing is, man, I always was like, I do believe in systemic racism. It is in our institutions. However, I do think it is certain things in place to have black people look a certain way and treat black people a certain way. But we're going to get into what Mr. Elder is saying when he's saying, systemic racism doesn't exist anymore. And the way he put it to me, had me second guess that a long time ago when I heard him break this down. And I said, you know what? To be the president of the United States, you have to get like a lot of votes, or at least the Electoral College is backing you for something, right? Why would they put a black person, which I call Barack Obama a black person? He's a mixed person, but anyway, he looks like me. The thing is, man, it's a lot of things that he was just naming that could never exist in Jim Crow America. See, I think Larry Elder is looking at it from the standpoint of systemic, meaning it was in law. It was a law saying you can't marry a black woman if you're a white man, and vice versa. It was a law. That's systemic. That's ingrained in the system, to where I can't drink out of that fountain because I'm black based upon my race. Yes, it is a selection, but they selected a black man. But what I'm saying is this. individuals have different ideologies, right? It's different cultures within police departments, the court systems, the schools, so forth and so on. And these cultures in any state, any county, whatever they're used to, they're going to go by. Now, it's a system within that culture. I would say that. But in the law, the actual law says you can't discriminate against someone because of their skin color. That's the law. And I think Larry Elder is trying to, and I may not agree with him 100%, but I do understand what he's saying when it's like, you're looking at it like, okay, the law said you couldn't do this for black people back in 1940s, 50s, 60s. And then we had something called the Civil Rights Act that Lyndon Baines Johnson put into effect to where you can't discriminate. Does that law, does everybody abide by that law? No. We have murder, right? It's in law saying you don't pose the murder, but are we saying Americans are systemically murderers? No, we're not. We're just saying, hey, individuals and groups of people, they are going to murder sometime. But it's in the law not to murder. It's against the law. Do you understand me? I don't know if that makes sense. I think I do, but y'all be the judge of that.
Largest and most prestigious organization of doctors, the American Medical Association, would have 2 black presidents, and there have been. He didn't say the most prestigious organization of lawyers, the American Bar Association, would have 2 black presidents, and they have. He said president, meaning at that point, I can feel that I've reached the mountaintop, which is the speech he gave right before he got assassinated the day before. And now we act as if Barack Obama never even got elected. And we're still talking about systemic racism. It's not fair. It's wrong. And you're discouraging black people from working hard. 1990s.
Okay. Mr. Elder, a quick question.
Now, y'all see how this black woman just, I think the conversation was going great between Charlemagne and Envy. Well, Envy ain't he jump in yet. I have 3 black daughters. I'm sorry. I have 3 black daughters, and I tell my daughters, when y'all come into a conversation when someone is talking, you say, excuse me, or you allow that person to get their whole thought out. Just allow. But she's sitting back there, and she's getting emotional on this show. And y'all see how she just came in. And look at Larry L. like, what the, I'm talking. Just listen.
At that point, I can feel that I've reached the mountaintop, which is the speech he gave right before he got assassinated the day before. And now we act as if Barack Obama never even got elected. And we're still talking about systemic racism. It's not fair. It's wrong. And you're discouraging black people from working hard. 1990s.
Okay. Mr. Elder, a quick question. Let's just remove the word racism, since that seems to be a word that triggers, a conversation down the water hole. Let's just focus on the word system.
Okay.
You mentioned that the system was the one that discouraged. And again, we have no problem with agreeing that the family, the black family, should certainly has some room for some improvement. But let's just focus.
Room for improvement? See how they're trying to take the big problem that he's running on and making it some, minuscule issue that can just, oh yeah, ain't no fathers in the house. I understand that. It's cool. We'll get to that. No, bruh. That's the whole cake. That is the whole cake. What he's saying is women need to start choosing suitable and competent men to father their children. And if they can't find that, do not have a baby. Look, you can give all the pussy you want to POOKIE, okay? You can give it to POOKIE. But just don't have Pookie's baby. Because you know what happens when you have Pookie's baby? Pookie don't give a fuck about that baby. He don't give a fuck about you. And Pookie is going to roll out to get another chick pregnant that's going to allow him to get her pregnant. And then that kid Either it be a girl or a boy. The girl is going to grow up without a father, so she don't even understand what to look for in a man. And then the boy is going to grow up without a father, and he's not even going to understand how to be a man. And that perpetuates the fucking cycle. And people keep saying, well, these men need this. I don't care if every man, every POOKIE turned over a new leaf today. And I did a video on it. If every POOKIE turned over a new leaf today and just start taking care of their responsibilities, guess what will still happen? Women making fucked up ass decisions about who they have sex with and who they have a baby for. That has to change. That mindset has to change. And once that change, the trajectory of our community will change, because the way we've been doing it for the last 40 years ain't working. When you give women ultimate power in our community, they're leading our community into hell. They have led our community into hell because they're the ones who's telling us we need to vote for the Democratic Party, in which they keep us in destitute. They keep us in poverty. They keep us slaves to their fucked up policies. I remember on the Breakfast Club when they was trying to, you know, look at welfare, and let's just take a look at this again because they're making it a lifestyle. Charlemagne, get on. Well, we don't need to get, there's a lot of single mothers out there who need it. That's what I'm talking about. The thing is, you're making it a lifestyle. My aunt made Section 8 a lifestyle. And guess what? Section 8 killed my aunt because she wasn't able to fix anything in her government house that they gave her. She wasn't able to do it on her own. So she kept calling the government, can y'all get in here to fix this gas leak? I'm sorry, not a gas leak. This mold. And it was mold in her basement, and that mold fucking killed her. Because she put everything in the government's hand. I'm trying to tell you guys every day on these videos what that Democratic Party does. And then all you can say to me is what Charlemagne basically did to Larry Elder. The Republicans don't do nothing. Why you want us to go to the Republic? I ain't never said anything about the Republicans. I'm the non-black, not non-black, the black non-Democrat. I'm a non-Democrat. Did I say I'm a Republican? No. What I'm telling you is start making people work for your vote. Work for you. Instead of having you work for them. Now let's listen to this crazy ass, ignorant ass lady that's trying to just make a point, an emotional point, but not say nothing.
Was on system.
Room for improvement?
System. Well, we're not going to go down that water. We're not going to go down that water hole. Let's get to the question. So the question is, you said that the system encouraged Black women to be single mothers, correct?
I said the welfare state, yes.
The welfare, the system. So who's in charge of the system? Who was in charge of the system?
Well, it was Democrats that passed it.
And who were Democrats? Were they Black or white at that time?
Well, at the time, majority of Black people were Democrats, as the majority of Black people are Democrats now.
Not the voters. I'm talking about the system. Remember, the main idea is the word system. Who was in charge of the system at the time? The Democrats at the time, the system. I'm just going to Charlemagne's point about white or Black. Was it white Democrats in charge of the system or Black Democrats in charge of the system?
Well, if you're prepared to say that Lyndon Johnson did this viciously with an intent to destroy the Black family, I disagree. He did it with the best of intentions.
That's where I disagree with Larry Elder at. I don't think he did it in no best intentions. That man was a straight up racist and he didn't give a fuck. He said, once I pass this civil rights bill, these niggas will be voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Give me an amen.
And if you look at the New York Times, which is left wing, the Washington Post, which is left wing, they cheered all of this.
Right, and what I'm asking was it white people, so I'm going to ask again in case my mic's not coming through clearly. Was it white people in charge of the system or Black people in charge of that system that helped break down the Black family? It's a simple yes. Just
what she's trying to get him just to say is what Black people do all the time. They just want you to say what their argument is. White people is doing this, or the bug is messing up my house, or the snake is doing this. At the end of the day, ma'am, the more you're pushing for him to say white people did this is even more of the point he's trying to make about black people putting so much stock into the white liberal. You see what I'm saying? But she don't care about that. She just want to get him to say white.
A simple question, white or black?
Well, you didn't have to go on welfare unless you voluntarily chose to go on welfare. The inducement was put there by Democrats, by the left.
Correct? Okay. White Democrats,
well, most black people were Democrats, and they voted for these white people
Not
too.
voters. I said who's in charge of the system.
Who makes them in charge? Oh my God! This is like you just. God.
Well, who puts them in charge?
Was Lyndon Johnson white or black?
Who puts them in charge?
Maybe that'll help you.
Fine. Lyndon Johnson was white.
Thank you.
Okay.
She thinks she did something. Got him. Got that nigga. Yep. Got him to say white, girl. I got his ass to say white. What was your point? Oh my God.
But if your argument is that the reason he did it is because of racism, then I disagree. He did it because of
That's not my argument. I just asked you a simple question. Was he white or black? Charlamagne?
And Mr. Elder, you said you talked about the smash and grabs, right? And I find that interesting because when you see the mass shootings that happen, majority of those people are white males. What do you think about that?
Actually, if you look at the percentage of whites in America, which is 60%, the percentage of mass shooters is under that. The percentage of people that commit hate crime is under that. The percentage of people who are serial killers is under that. Black people are 13% of the population. We commit a greater percentage compared to that of mass shootings.
You specifically talked about the smash and grabs, though. So I was saying, since you're using that as an example, I'm saying, well, what about the mass shooters that are usually white males?
One more time. They are usually white males because 60% of the country is white. However, they underrepresent in terms of the number of mass shootings. About 50% or so of the mass shootings in this country are committed by white people, even though white people are 60% of the population. They underrepresent. We overrepresent when it comes to hate crime, when it comes to mass shootings, when it comes to serial killings, when it comes to robberies, when it comes to virtually every category of violent crime. We overrepresent.
So what do white people do wrong? I'm going to keep asking you that.
Charlamagne, I swear, black people are so docile. We are so our victim mentality has sunken us. That's the real sunken place, okay? It's not that, you're a conservative black person or you're a thinker. It's you're in a sunken place when you think that you're victimized or you play this victimization card. What do white people do? What about white people? I keep asking you about white people. I did a video. Remember that woman, that white woman who pulled the gun on them black chicks at the Chipotle? But they ain't tell us the chick was pregnant first. They just put out that little clip of her pulling the gun out. And what did we hear on that little clip? Oh, these white people are so racist. But when we got that 14-minute clip, y'all seen them chastising this white lady and her husband, which they lost their job over this shit. The white woman was trying to get in her car. She got in her car. And she was pregnant. They ain't say nothing about that, though. See, the liberal media tries to get you mad. They try and back up, roll out. They hit their car. Like, bitch, you fucking bitch. They wasn't talking none of that white shit. That racist white shit until they got on the phone with the police. Oh, these racist white people is just, oh my God. And then when the lady pulled out the gun, oh, you gonna shoot us. You gonna shoot us, huh? Y'all don't believe me? Let's I got it. Let's go. Let's take a little detour real quick. And I'm gonna prove my point. Because we play victim all the time. I got it right here. Let's go. Let's go. I do this, man. Y'all understand I do this. I really do this.
Wants to violate a 15-year-old.
No, I'm asking a question. She's a child.
She bumped into me when
So if she did something wrong, she needs to apologize. If she did
This
something
ignorant
wrong,
woman
if
bumped
she
into
didn't
a
apologize,
15-year-old,
right? Correct?
and you're on camera.
Okay.
You're feeling threatened.
Okay, well, go in.
No, Mom.
I got this.
This lady is not doing anything.
Blocking me from getting
No,
my
girl,
No, we
go ahead.
weren't. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. You're ignorant. Go ahead.
You're ignorant.
No, we will, but you're not going to sit there
Watch.
and violate a 15-year-old.
She's
She's trying to get in the car with her husband.
ignorant.
Do it, bitch. Do it.
You guys
Ass bitch.
They calling her bitch. They calling her white bitch and all of it. Right?
She's ignorant.
Do it, bitch. Do it. Do it. I want you to do something.
She's very ignorant.
Dumbass bitch. Yeah, I said it. You say something, I'll beat your white ass.
You say something, I beat your white ass. I swear, if Rose was reversed, oh my God.
Oh, I
You-
will. Do something. Please put your
Do
motherfucking
something.
hands
Do
up.
something.
Please.
Who the fuck do you think you guys are?
He said, who the fuck do y'all think y'all are?
Who do you
Who do
think
you
you are?
your wife think you are?
You calling her name?
yeah,
She
you-
did nothing to you.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't.
apologize.
I
Go
didn't.
ahead, Kayla. God, dog,
No, you
both of y'all
didn't.
go there.
You're very racist and ignorant.
You're racist because you're calling
No,
her
you
name.
bumped it. She bumped into me.
Why would you bump into
You
her?
cannot just
Why
walk
would
around
you
calling
bump her?
white
Why
people
would you bump her?
racist. This is not that
Why
type
would
of
you
world.
bump her?
White people
Why
are
would
racist.
you bump her?
No one's
Why
racist.
would you bump her?
I
Why
care
did you
about
say
you.
sorry?
I care
Why did
about
Well, some white people are racist. She said white people. Some are.
you say sorry?
And I'm sorry if you
Why
had
did you
an
say
incident
sorry?
And she said, I'm sorry if she's apologized.
If you
someone
bumped
make
into
you
her,
feel
why
like
did you
that.
say sorry?
No one is racist.
If you didn't do
I'm
anything, why
sorry
did
if
you do
you
that?
had something like that happen.
Ignorant. Ignorant.
Now y'all hear these two women talking dog shit like they about that life, right?
Very. Ma, watch.
Get the fuck away from me!
You gonna get on her face.
You better get on my fucking face right now. Get away. Get the fuck away. Get the fuck away. Get the fuck away.
You hear my get the back the fuck up. See, I try to tell y'all get the fuck away, but
You gonna shoot me?
Get the fuck away.
and she cocked that jump.
Call the cops right now. Call them.
Call the cops.
Get the
Y'all ain't, you gonna shoot us? What is wrong with these
fuck
women?
away.
Call the cops.
Get away.
She got the gun on me.
Call
He
them
hit me
now.
with the car. Call him.
She got the gun on me out now. Y'all hear how cavalier and just fucked up they sounding, right?
Get the
Call the cops.
Get the license plate.
Get
Get the license plate now. Cause you were never about to hit me with the damn
Don't
car.
you fuck.
Let me tell y'all, I'm sorry. These black women be just what I can't say about white women, once they see danger, they be, oh my God, oh, I'm sorry. You gotta play the game, shorty.
No. With the car? Oh, both of y'all put the guns on him.
Yeah.
Call Rachel back up to the police. Call Rachel back up here now.
I got it.
Don't you fucking jump behind my
No,
car.
I ain't jumping on your car. What you
Don't you
doing?
fucking
You're
jump.
Mom, stop moving.
Stop, Mom. Get the fuck back.
That's some crazy shit.
Fuck up.
And the white girl's pregnant. Now, y'all just switch those roles. I guarantee the headline will be white mother and daughter chastise and harass pregnant black woman where she had to defend herself and pull out a gun. And I guarantee everybody online will just be praising this black woman for pulling out the gun on these racist white people.
No, you can't fucking leave.
You got all this on video? Yes.
Real comfortable. Call the police. No.
Mom, stop walking.
Hello, police. Call the police. Can you go back to your call the police? Call the police. You fucking
They pulled the gun out of.
Here you go. Now, this is where the victimization is just gonna click in. It's just gonna like night and day.
These white people, they're so racist. They pulled a gun on my mama, both of them. It was a white lady and a white man.
Well,
I just want. I'm sorry, y'all know. If y'all know me, I like to prove my point. That's what we do. Like we just pull the race card, and that's what we do, and that's what this lady is doing. Sorry for the detour, people.
It seems to me, rather than deal with what's going on, the pathology that's going on in the inner city, you want me to talk about how bad white people are, which I don't think is a particularly productive thing to do.
Well, I think there's a cause and effect, but if we can't talk about the cause, which I believe is systemic racism and white supremacy, the FBI says.
Well, I just told you, if it's systemic racism, please explain to me how it was when America really had systemic racism in 1940. 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Again, this is...
And you know what? Liberals, black people who go against conservative black people like myself, they can never answer that. Tommy Sotomayor been asking that question for years, but they always gloss over it, which you guys going to see them gloss over it. If you're saying, listen to the argument here. Let's be for real. You're saying systemic racism and just blatant just doing all of this to us today is our number one issue, and this white supremacy is keeping us down, right? What he's saying, what Larry Elder is saying is, let's go back to the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, where it was overt racism. Fuck systemic. It was straight in your face, nigger, get out of my fucking city. They will call you were called nigger more than you got said hi to. Do you guys understand? So why did we prosper then? Why did we have intact families then? Why did we have more self-accountability then? If that's your argument, and you're saying the reason why we're where we at today is white supremacy, why, when we had overt white supremacy, because it's covert now, if you're looking at it, no white, they say the N-word. So that's covert. They probably say the word in private, but in the 40s, nah, it was pretty much up there on the surface. What's the difference? The difference is what Mr. Elder is trying to point out to them. We had intact families. We had fathers in the house, competent, strong fathers in the house. Even though we was in poverty, even though we were poor, and on top of that, we were segregated. I always told y'all we shouldn't have integrated, at least not until we got some power. Once we integrated into white America, that's when everything ceased to exist for us. Because feminism and the government got to our women, crack got to our men, and Joe Biden's crime bill. And that snatched any integrity that we did have out. That's what he's trying to say.
During Jim Crow era, my father is from Athens, Georgia, grew up in Jim Crow. My mom is from Huntsville, Alabama, grew up in Jim Crow. 87% of blacks live below the poverty line. This is before Brown versus Board of Education. You did not find these kind of black on black crime.
Probably because we had no
but
choice.
They still were living
below
the poverty line, though, sir.
I'm sorry?
You're forgetting the fact that they were still living.
This chick brought up something that's not even his argument. They were living below the poverty line was because of the overt racism that he's not denying. We didn't have shit, but we did have each other, and we did have fathers. That's his point. But Watch how she just try to fuck that up. What's up, Breeze? You in the building. Appreciate you coming through. I love that comment that you did on the little girl, 5-year-old with the hair. I just finished that video. Waiting for it to get monetized. But y'all can always go over to Rumble. I will always have videos uploaded over Rumble. Like I told you guys, it is so hard to get monetized on YouTube because they don't like the truth. And yeah, you know, if you don't want to wait for the monetization, you can always hit that membership. Get on the membership on YouTube. Or if you don't want to pay, go over to Rumble, just create a free account, and you will get videos from me every day.
Below the poverty line, you're picking and choosing, saying this was good, but this was bad.
Okay.
The bottom line, they end between the poverty line. But let's move forward.
Well,
on
let me.
system.
Can I just address that? In 1940, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. 1960, that number had fallen to 47%. That's a 40-point drop in 20 years. That's the greatest 20-year period of economic expansion for black people in the history of America. Again, well before Brown versus Board of Education, well before the KKK imploded, well before we had race-based preferences. Why? Because it was rare for a black kid to be raised in a family without a father in the home. A strong belief in Judeo-Christian values, a belief in patriotism, even as America wasn't applying these values to black people, obviously, and a belief in entrepreneurship. All those things are now under assault by organizations like Black Lives Matter. Charlemagne, Black Lives Matter had on their website an attack on the nuclear family. The founders are self-described Marxists, trained Marxists. Marx wanted to dethrone God, was an atheist, and Marx did not believe in capitalism, let alone entrepreneurship. All the things that made black people still survive in virulent racism are now under attack by organizations like Black Lives Matter.
But all of those things have always been under attack by white supremacy. You can go back to things like whether it's the Tulsa race massacres, like every time
they pull up something, I love how Elder just shut them down. Shut them down, baby. Because they see, when they don't have someone to challenge what the fuck they're saying, this rhetoric, this dumbass, stupid ass, ignorant shit they be spitting every day on the Breakfast Club, it sounds like gold. You know what I mean? And shout out to all the people. I went down in the Breakfast Club, and I know they see. I went down in the Breakfast Club comment section to the belly of the beast, and all them black people came on there and said, man, Elder killed them. And these people who watch the Breakfast Club, their own people went down in the comment section and said, Elder embarrassed them. They sounded stupid.
Black people do create these systems that are our systems, and we are the entrepreneurs. It seems like white supremacy finds a way to destroy it.
Every time, look, the Tulsa massacre, within about 5 years, that whole area was rebuilt. It was not even called the Black Wall Street until after it was rebuilt. And it was rebuilt, by the way, by black people without one dime of government money.
Look at Charlemagne's face. God damn, I didn't even know that shit. I was told all my life that they were...
Yeah, who destroyed it to begin with?
It was racists who destroyed it. No question about it. We've had race riots, but so have Japanese.
So you do agree that there's racism? I'm just so confused.
You know, I never even came close to saying. I never came close to saying there was no racism.
You just said you don't think it's systemic racism.
Not anymore. Obviously, there was. We had something called slavery. We had something called Jim Crow.
That destroyed black. Hold on, sir. That was system that destroyed. That was the system that destroyed Black Wall Street.
She go. Hey, y'all gonna hear her just speak about the system as if it was a straight up person. The way she said is like, I can't wait till they get to that part.
It's the same system right now that's not even wanting to pay those same living descendants, because I know your position on reparations, but those same living descendants of Black Wall Street.
Okay.
And then you go on to say that the system, the quote unquote system, is also trying to destroy President Trump. So I'm just so confused on, do you believe that the system can destroy or not? You pick and choose, sir, and that's what's so confusing to me. You just said it wasn't racism. Now it is racism. When it was time to build it.
She's not even following the conversation, y'all. Like, for real. Like, she's not even following what he's saying the system is doing to Trump. Systematically. When he's saying system, he's saying, okay, they're treating Hillary Clinton different from what they're treating Trump. But Hillary Clinton did the same shit that Trump, y'all see what I'm talking about.
I said it wasn't.
There was no racism.
I said it wasn't systemic racism. Let's talk about.
So what are you just hung up on the word system?
Can I just make this point, Charlamagne, please? Let's take Chinese Americans. Chinese Americans were the first ethnic group to be excluded with an Immigration Act in the late 1800s. They had riots against Chinese in L.A.
Right, honest person. What the fuck is the system? Like, she's saying it like, you know, we could go meet the system. Hey, system, why you keep fucking with us? But it's going to be a point in this video, in this live, or this interview, where Larry Elder is going to break down a whole Baltimore council, court, police department being all black. And she's going to fight against what he's saying and keep saying, yeah, they all black, but it's the system that killed Freddie Gray. Nah, it was a lot of black people there that could have stopped this. And then she's going to say, well, it's the black face of the system.
In San Francisco, there were laws that prevented Chinese Americans from participating in the laundry business. I'm in California. California, of course, rounded up Japanese Americans during World War II. There were laws that prevented Japanese Americans from owning farmland.
Hillary Clinton did. She brought hot sauce to the motherfucking Breakfast Club, and I ain't questioning this bitch. For real, like for real, man. Like, that is racist. They don't understand. Biden said, hey, I got something for the black people. The plan is going to be called the Platinum Plan. That is racist. That is all racist. Like, you're thinking, okay, when you think a certain race likes something, even if they do, it's still racist because you're thinking it, and you actually put the hot sauce. Hillary Clinton don't eat no hot sauce. She don't put hot sauce on anything. I don't got Hillary Clinton putting hot sauce on shit. I got my hot sauce, y'all. And then when Hillary Clinton be getting into her slave voice on the speeches, I's going down the river in Mississippi, y'all. I'm like, oh my God. Like, for real. Nancy Pelosi put on a dashiki and shit. Like, they straight be disrespecting black people in your face, man. And we still just vote for them at a 96% clip. Damn.
Average Japanese American household has a higher per capita income than the average white household. The average Chinese American household has a higher per capita income than the average white household. How does that happen? It happens because of a strong belief in family. It is rare for a Chinese American or a Japanese American kid to have a child outside of wedlock, and a strong belief in education and a strong belief in entrepreneurship. These are the kinds of qualities that make people successful.
You can't blame everything on having a fatherless family, right? Because I
didn't say blaming everything.
I know, but that's what you're saying. You're saying a strong community. But
see, Envy was raised by his father, but the culture of our community is single mothers. It's straight up women. So most of us black men think like women. That man never said all. That man never said only. But Envy is going to say all. He never said all. He said you're more likely to end up in prison in a single mother home. You're more likely to get pregnant in a single mother home. You're more likely to drop out of school in a single mother home. You're more likely to be depressed in a single mother home. More likely. They just forget the term more likely and just say, well, my mother raised me. That's great, ma'am. You're the outlier.
You said that's what I just said. I didn't say that.
You talk about the Asian community. Asian community, it's easy for them to get loans for entrepreneurships. It's easy for them to get loans for houses. You look at our community. Okay. If you really want to talk about our community, right? You look at the schools in our community. Some of our schools are the worst, right? Would you agree with that? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Which is why one of the reasons I'm running for president is for school choice.
Also, would you say that is in our community is systemic? It's also in our communities heavy food deserts. There's nothing but fast food places.
Everything that he's naming, guess who put those policies into place to keep them there, you guys? The Democratic Party.
That they're just killing and destroying that. Would you say that's true?
Systemic too, by the way.
Boy.
Would you say that's true? I'm just asking a question.
Okay, you said a number of things.
Whenever y'all hear him say, boy, whoa, these people are fucking retarded. That's what he's saying in his head. He said, wow, these people are really ignorant. They got a whole syndicated radio show. And then you look down on their goddamn mic. Oh, BET.
Address one of them about loans. In 1965, Barack Obama, who was in private practice, joined a bunch of other lawyers to file a class action lawsuit against Citicorp, which is headquartered here in New York. 186 black people were applying for loans for mortgages and didn't get them. And they accused Citicorp of engaging in racism. Citicorp said, no, it's not racism. You have poor credit scores, and we want to make sure we get our money back. Obama joined a bunch of other lawyers, and they sued Citicorp in a class action lawsuit. And Citicorp said, okay, to hell with it. Gave them all loans. And they followed them all up. Daily Caller did a few years later. Almost all of them lost their homes. Several of them filed for bankruptcy. One of them even said, when you don't qualify for a loan, maybe we shouldn't get a loan. Well, duh. It wasn't true that black people were not getting loans. Plus, there are all sorts of black-owned community banks around the country, and it turns out the turn-down rate when you apply for a loan at a community bank was even higher because they had less capital and they couldn't afford to loan money to risky people. It is just not the case that the reason for the plight of the black community is because people were not lending money to them. It's just not true.
That is absolutely correct. See, the thing is, people, they want to talk about black people not getting loans disproportionately from white people, Asians, and all of that. We don't have good credit, you guys. I'm sorry. And then when they did do it, a lot of black people lost their homes. I got a 4,000 square foot house, right? And me and my wife worked hard as fuck to get this. We had to clean up our credit. I never had good credit. And I'm going to tell you why. I love my mother to death. She's passed away. Love her. But when I turned 18, she did something that I wish she never did. She said, you want to get a credit card? I said, yeah, cool. I didn't know I have any concept of a credit card. It's because she did these things and messed up her credit. So she said, let's go get a credit card. That credit card came. She said, you want to go break it in? I said, yes. We went to the mall. I broke it in. We go to Radio Shack. She said, hey, you want to get a Radio Shack credit card? MasterCard? Yeah. Now I'm 18. I don't know anything. My mother is supposed to be the person who protects me from this. I get a credit card, MasterCard from Radio Shack. And then they said $500. Both of them, Capital One and the Radio Shack, was $500. I bought a boom box and a Samsung flip phone from Radio Shack. We're walking out of the mall. We walk past Zales. She said, Zales got credit cards too. I said, let's go get one. Got her a tennis bracelet. Got approved for $500. I was swiping that card every chance I get. Sunflower seeds, the movies, everything. And I fucked up my credit. I didn't understand this. So I was like, well, once all the money gone, I'm thinking in my mind, because I was ignorant, I'm thinking, hey, I closed the account. I'm good. I don't owe nothing. Then that's when my mother say, well, you got to pay that money back. It's like, how? What money? Just got fired from my job, too. Everything got repossessed. Car got repossessed. Next 15 years, my credit was shit. I just got my credit right in the last 5 years. I'm 15 points away from 800 credit score, you guys. Thank you. I work hard for that shit. I work hard. Capital One, went back to them. They just upped my $500 limit to $3,500. The other day, literally the other day. based upon me being. So did they look at my race? Be like, oh, he's black. I ain't gonna do that. Did the mortgage company that me and my wife went to? Nah, this house, I got an acre of land out this. Like, nah, your credit, okay, cool. Where you trying to live? We got approved for $800,000. We only use $400. Don't you dare use that whole $800. They will trick your ass. They will trick your ass like shit. Yeah, you approve for $800,000. And you go out there and get an $800,000 house. You're going to be paying $800,000 a month. But that's what. See, envy is trying to play that victim card again. The thing is, there's another side to not getting those loans, envy, and you know that. Because envy is a realtor. Envy sells homes and buys homes. You know this, envy. So at the end of the day, stop selling our people bullshit. Just like I used to, it's a dude called Russ Parr. Russ Parr Morning Show on the radio. And radios do this. Breakfast Club do this shit too. And this is why I stopped listening to radio. It's because they be promoting those commercials, those payday loans. And those payday loans are predatory on the black community who live paycheck to paycheck. And they be having them commercials, and then they'll be like, yeah, black community, we're for you, we're for you. You're not for us if you're getting us in debt every day with them payday loans. And I noticed that. I said, why are the black radio stations convincing black people in poverty to get a loan and for $500, and then they owe the people $800? It's fucked up, man. And envy is trying to say something to where it's not true, and he knows that black people in poverty listens to his show. Larry Elder is trying to school us on something, but they are trying to block it. Thank you, Breeze. Yes, congratulations to me, because I never had good credit until 5 years ago.
Not true, but hold on 1 second, Charlamagne.
What's not true?
You're bringing back facts of 1965, right? Let's talk 2023, right?
I said 1995.
1995. We talk 2023, right? My son will be successful in real estate and successful in buying a house. You know why? Because
why do y'all think? I'm gonna pause that. Why do y'all think his son will be successful? It's because of what? Let's talk about it. He's in his son's life. He's a father. And that's what he does. And he teaches his son that. But envy is going to try to make it seem like it's innately in black people to do this. But it's not. Let's go.
Because of you, because of you owns a house, right? But my father,
because of you and the drive, because of you and the drive you put into him,
did not own houses.
Because of you and the drive you put into him.
We're not gonna have a conversation.
You're not even appreciating what you've done to your son.
I'm just asking you a question. I just let you speak and I'll let you talk.
Okay,
I can talk.
We have a conversation. All right. When we talk about it, right, it's harder for our community to get loans, right? And not just because of poor credit scores. It's because of where the areas are. You talked about the Asian community. A lot of the Asian community have their own banks and they're able to process and get their own banks. There's not too many African-American branches that are able to give out money. So that's one. Then let's talk about getting grants for schools. They're not even giving grants for schools at the rate that they're giving grants for white people. And let's talk about when they talk about entrepreneurship. They are giving so much money to these white and Asian kids and
y'all, if y'all in here, please make sure you hit those like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit them. Hit it. I'm not asking you for any money. I'm not asking if you're just coming in, popping in to say hi. Hit the like button so someone else can come in, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Our people need to hear this, baby, and we need some new subscribers on this channel. Let's go.
Asian people doing it, and a 1,000 times less than our community. Will you agree to any of that?
No, I don't. I don't agree with virtually any of what you just now said. He
said I don't agree with nothing you said because you just speaking out of emotion.
Turn down rate for a white applicant for a mortgage is higher than the turn down rate for a Japanese or a Chinese applicant for a mortgage. Now, are you telling me that banks are discriminating against whites and in favor of Asian Americans? It's because their credit scores are better. They often live below their means. They save more, even when they're making the same amount of money than black people do. If you have poor credit score, you're not going to get a loan. Period. End of statement. Even the head of Urban League, a black man, once said that if you have poor credit score, you're not going to get a loan. End of statement.
Sir,
yes.
let's just okay.
Every time this chick opens her motherfucking mouth, she don't have shit to say productive. Let's see what the fuck she got to say now.
When you were talking about crime, you weren't prepared to talk about disproportion. You talked about how it was more black people that was doing it, and then you talked about how we're the smaller, other population. The same applies also to the loans. It's more white people than it is black people. You seem to pick and choose.
I'm talking about the rate. I'm talking about the rate.
Whatever it is, the bottom line is it's more white people than it is black people. And so if more black people are not getting loans disproportionately, it seems you'd only want to apply the disproportion to the conversation when it benefits your talking point.
I'm not sure you understood.
Which is why they say.
I'm not sure you understood.
No, I understood.
I'm not sure you understood my point. That's why I mentioned in 1995 when 186 black people who were not getting loans filed a class action lawsuit claiming that they were denied the loan because of racism. Citicorp said, okay, here are your loans. The reason I wasn't giving you the loans is because we're afraid you weren't going to be able to pay them back.
I'm not talking about
Fast forward,
sir.
they weren't able to pay them back, which proves the Citicorp point.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about
I know
that.
you're not, because inconvenient.
I'm talking about your response to Envy when you said more white people get approved for loans.
Since you like numbers, Washington Post said black Americans have the highest denial rates for purchase and refinancing loans, according to Home Mortgage Disclosures Act.
Because of their credit score.
And all credit scores are the same. 15% of Hispanic loan applicants were denied, compared with about 11% of white and 10% of Asian applicants with same credit scores. And that's Washington Post, since you love numbers so much, and I know you do love numbers. That's coming from the Washington Post. That's 2023, not 1995.
I can show you a study that says the opposite.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Elder. Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and I'm pretty sure everybody who just caught a RICO with him in Georgia, they all had fathers, and they still ended up in jail. How did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said if you have a father, you won't go to jail. Nobody said if you didn't have a father, you were going to jail. My father never.
But guess what you did say, Mr. Elder? I'm sorry, respectfully.
May I answer his question?
Guess what you did say.
May I answer his question?
Let him finish his statement, Ted.
Okay.
My father never knew his.
Hey, Young, I swear. Of course, not all. But when a black woman is in a conversation, they just. And I try to teach my black girls not to do this. I swear. I got 3. Probably one of them are going to do this. I don't know. But they just cannot allow a black man to speak. Or anybody to speak. Because that man is trying to answer something and convey something. But she just keep on just jumping in. And when she jump in, she ain't got nothing to say. She's saying nothing.
His biological father, he got thrown out of the house when he was 13 years old, 8th grade dropout, Jim Crow South, Athens, Georgia. Fast forward, my dad cleaned toilets, 2 full-time jobs cleaning toilets when I was growing up. Went to night school to get his GED, and then after that, he went to night school to learn how to operate a small restaurant. Age of 47, my dad saves his nickels and dimes from his job, starts a small restaurant near downtown LA. Fast forward, he retires in his 80s. He owned that restaurant. He owned property next door, plus the house that's still in our family. Not too shabby for somebody who did not know his biological father. It's not a death sentence. You still have choices. It's just much more difficult to raise a child on your own. Even Tupac Shakur said, "I know for a fact." Tupac, excuse me. I know for a fact. Had I had a father, I would have been more confident. I would have been.
Now y'all see that. Some people do say Tupac, and actually is Tupac. But y'all see, Charlamagne just correct him, right? Put a pin in that.
More discipline, end of quote.
Well, how did all those white men end up in jail when they still had fathers? The Trumps and the Giuliani.
Motherfucker, he just explained it to you. That's why I said they not listening to this man. He asked the same question which Larry Elder just broke down.
Just asking the question, like, how did they end up in jail?
Because some people commit crimes.
No, sir. Stop. My apologies for interrupting you earlier. I just couldn't stomach the answer that I knew you were going to say.
Couldn't stomach the answer?
Yeah, I couldn't stomach because your actual answer to Trump being what was happening to him with the indictments, you actually said that the system was doing it. You said there was a two-tier system. This is your words.
That's right.
That it was a two-tier system. So when it came to Trump, all of a sudden you now believe in this systematic thing that's happening to Trump. But then when it happens to black people,
but it's not about race. It's not about race.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you. Remember, I made it easy for you, and I took race out of it. Remember, I said I'm just talking about the system. I'm just talking about the system.
If you want to ask me whether I believe Donald Trump is being treated the same way as Joe Biden and is being treated the same way as Hillary Clinton, all of these people are white. All these people are white. There's a double standard.
Well,
Mr. Elder, you didn't hear my question.
You said that
you didn't hear my question.
You said some people commit crimes, so you do believe that Trump.
It sounds like an interrogation instead of an interview, man. Like, are these people for real? And shout out to Larry Elder for keeping his cool, for literally keeping his cool. Because I would have been like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. Nigga, with the, man, I would have, man, brother. And look, I've just been researching stoicism, being stoic. And if you guys don't know what stoic is, it's when you're in pain or someone's coming at you, you are, that's what he's doing, remaining stoic. And I'm trying. That's why an honest person said this. She said, that pissed me off. I stopped watching after that. A lot of black people probably stopped watching after that shit. This is crazy. I would have been.
Giuliani, they committed a crime.
I don't know.
But you just said some people commit crimes.
I said some people committed a crime. I didn't say Donald Trump committed a crime. If you asked me specifically whether I believe Donald Trump committed a crime, I don't.
I don't. Specifically about those people and why they ended up in jail. And they all got fathers.
Well, Donald Trump is not in jail.
Oh, he got indicted.
Yeah, he got indicted. That's a far cry from being in jail.
Why did he get indicted?
Well, he got arrested, is what I'm saying.
He's
going to get arrested.
He's been arrested. He got indicted, in my opinion, because the DOJ has a double standard. They let Hillary pass, for example. She clearly violated the Espionage Act by having an unsecured server in her basement. She paid for the Steele dossier. She destroyed 30,000 emails that were under subpoena.
Was it the system? Because that system, that's that system. We gotta get rid of that system. It's the system. Shut the fuck up.
And she got a wrist slap. And Donald Trump is now being indicted, I think, for the fourth time. It's unfair.
Right.
Black people been telling y'all how corrupt the FBI is for a long time.
And the FBI has been corrupt. There was COINTEL.
I'm glad he ignoring this chick right now. She keep on talking about the system. And he talking about some real shit. She keep talking about the system.
No, the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover also wiretapped MLK under Robert Kennedy, a Democrat Attorney General, Malcolm X, lots of things. Right. And I find it interesting how the same people who criticize the FBI historically are now defending the FBI because they're going after Donald Trump.
Oh, we're not defending the FBI.
I didn't say you were. I said some of the same people.
We're just looking and saying, damn, finally.
What's your thoughts with?
So, when the FBI ain't doing what you wanted to do, they corrupt. But when they doing what you want them to do, it's, finally, we got justice.
With Florida, and you see that they're trying to take our history out of these history books and not trying to teach our history. What's your thoughts?
I find it interesting that the Democrats are the ones complaining about Florida. This is a party of slavery, party of Jim Crow, the party of the KKK, the party of the Southern Manifesto, the party of Dred Scott, the party that I said earlier destroyed the nuclear intact family, and the party that is opposing school choice. And now they want to lecture Florida on making sure the proper history of slavery is taught. I don't know anybody who's defending slavery. Anybody. Not Ron DeSantis. He's not defending.
People benefited from slavery.
Actually, you're talking about one line. You're talking about one line in about 127 pages of the study, and it is a line that was repeated almost verbatim in the associated in the advanced placement African American course that the DeSantis administration refused to use because of all of the sexual stuff that was in it. It's basically the
Well,
same
sir-
thing that was in the advanced placement African American courses, and now because it's in that, all of a sudden the governor is accused of somehow defending slavery. He's not doing anything of the sort.
What did you think
Well,
about
sir,
that line?
you were actually one that defended slavery. In your comments, you said that, like it or not, slavery was legal
It
in a
was.
response to reparations. So it's you that was defending slavery, correct?
Defending it and saying that it's illegal are two very different things. Slavery, slavery, unfortunately.
Well, that was your response. That was your response into if reparations should happen. So your response to that was, like it or not, slavery was legal, and one would think that that was a defense on those who were asking.
Well, you would think it was a defense, but it is not a defense. Unfortunately, slavery has been part and parcel of human history from the very beginning. Asians enslaved Asians.
And what he's about to say is absolutely true. But listen to their response, their emotional ass response.
Whites enslaved whites, blacks enslaved blacks, Native Americans enslaved Native Americans. This is a culture, the Western civilization, that had a...
Yes, Brooks. He been cooking their asses ever since this start. From the moment this thing came on, he's been cooking, and I've been eating and it's good. And I want that hot sauce, like how Hillary Clinton came on the Breakfast Club with that hot sauce.
Revulsion against it. We had a civil war against it. And we ought to applaud ourselves for doing something about this. This is a flawed country. It's moving forward. It's becoming more perfect all the time. Today, if you are born and raised in America, if you finish high school, presumably one where you can read, write, and computer grade level, which is why I support school choice, don't have a kid before you're 20, get married first, get a job, keep a job, don't quit it until you get another job, and avoid the criminal justice system, you will not be poor. And if you...
It's called hard work, determination, avoiding dumb shit, and avoiding ignorant behavior. Period. That's all you have to do in life. But
don't follow that formula, there's a good chance you will be.
You know, the first GOP debate is coming up, and you didn't qualify, and I saw you writing.
Well, you didn't say I've not yet qualified. It's not until August 21.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw you writing the op-ed that the Republican National Committee has rigged the rules of the game by instituting a set of criteria that is
Israel Judah. Can I cook real quick, y'all? Can I cook? He say nobody went into slavery as a nation like the Atlantic slave trade. Let me tell y'all something about the Atlantic slave trade. That is minor to the Egyptian slave trade, baby. Do you guys understand that slavery back in the day, before American slaves and Atlantic slave trade, these motherfuckers wasn't able to eat. They wasn't able to do anything. They worked from sun up to sun down. They wasn't provided clothes. They wasn't provided anything. They were beat every day. Black slaves was not beat every day. And I'm not defending slaves. What I'm doing is, or I'm not defending slavery. What I'm doing is comparing this slavery that this man just came up with in my comment section and comparing it to the... Do you guys really... do you... He say, Elder is a damn fool. But watch. Just watch.
Onerous. What is it? Onerous?
Onerous.
Onerous. And poorly
I
designed.
mispronounced Tupac, so you mispronounced onerous.
That's
So we're even.
Y'all hear that? That's why I said put a pin in it, because he told that man it ain't Tupac, it's Tupac. But you couldn't even pronounce that word, buddy. See, that's pettiness right there.
You are really petty, Mr.
And he said,
No, he's not petty. Charlemagne is petty, because a lot of people say Tupac.
and poorly designed that only establishment and billionaire candidates are guaranteed to be on stage.
Bro said nobody has ever went through the type of slavery that the FBA or Judah went through. You are very uneducated on the subject. What? What type of slavery are we talking about then? So you're telling me that Egyptian slaves, where they literally depict how life was for the slave in Egyptian slavery. And not even just that, slavery in Africa before their own sold in, bruh. It was savage. Like, that shit wasn't even humane. Like, now I'm not saying American slavery was humane, but it was more humane than it. Come on, man. I mean, y'all can look. I'm not going to stop the show to argue this because it's stupid. It's stupid. Y'all can literally go and see what happened to Egyptian slaves, see what happened to slaves in the Congo, see what happened to slaves in Rwanda, see what happened to slaves way before the Mid-Atlantic slave trade. Just go into the day in the life of a slave then and a day in the life of a slave in America. And again, I am not defending slavery in America, and I'm not saying slavery in America was good. What I'm saying is what your argument is untrue.
Explain us why that system hurts people.
Well, I ran for governor of California. I got 3.5 million votes. It seemed to me that made me credible. The RNC is requiring us to have 1% or 40,000 individual donors. In 2020, the DNC required you to have 1% or a certain number of donors. For reasons that I don't quite understand, the RNC is requiring you to have both of them. One of the candidates in this...
All right, Israel, I'm just stupid. I don't know about nothing. Just keep on typing, brother. I'm ignorant. I just don't know about anything. I'm just up here just speaking out now.
Race is a multimillionaire. He's offered a $20 gift certificate if you give $1. Another one is offering a free, air quotes, country western concert if you give $1. Another one is giving you a commission if you are a prospective donor to go out and get other prospective donors. It seems to me that corrupts the whole process. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, Charlamagne. I'm asking people to support me and go to my website, larryelder.com, and give me at least $1. If I get $1 from 40,000 individuals, I will be up on that stage in Milwaukee on August 23. And when I get up there, game on, hold my beer.
So why is this system? Is this system holding you back?
Go ahead.
Would you say it's a system holding you back?
I would say it's unfair. It seems to me this early, the voters ought to decide this. I mean, in 2016, there were 17 or 18 Republican candidates. Now there's 13. Somehow, some way, our republic survived, and we could survive with 13 candidates. I don't know why they have all this rule to eliminate certain people at this point.
Those systems,
but rather than
those systems can hold you back no matter how hard you work, right?
No, I'm going to say, but rather than whine about it, my goal is to get on as many shows as I can, like yours. Urge people to go to larryelder.com, give at least $1, even if you want somebody else. Don't you think it's wise for us to talk about the epidemic of fatherlessness, the lie that America remains systemic racism, systemically racist, and the need for school choice? 13 public high schools in Baltimore, 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. Are you kidding me? 53 public high schools in Chicago, 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party is opposed to school choice, while the party elites, whether it's Barack Obama or Gavin Newsom or Joe Biden, have their own kids in private school. It is wrong, and we need to talk about that.
Larry Elder, why would somebody from our community vote for you, or why should they vote for you? Why should a black...
And see, listen to the question, you guys. The question is sounding like, he said, why would someone from our community even vote for you? With the question, you're just shitting on me as a human being, as a person that's trying to push an agenda of... pushed an agenda of fighting against fatherless America. But that's how he formed his question.
Black person vote for you?
Because I'm telling the truth, and the truth oftentimes is unpleasant. It's not pleasant for me to be called the black face of white supremacy, as the LA Times did. It's not pleasant for me to be accused of being anti-black, as Tavis Smiley once called me, because I don't support reparations. By the way, Barack Obama never supported reparations. Nobody called him anti-black. We need to talk about what's going on. What's going on is the breakdown of the family. And most of the things we complain about downstream, whether it's crime or whether it's bad schools, the genesis is the breakdown of the nuclear intact family, and we don't talk enough about it.
Do you agree that our community is hit harder with a lot of things that you just said, whether it is racism, whether it is getting loans, whether it is getting entrepreneurship, whether it is education, whether it is all those things? You do understand that and agree with that, correct?
I do, but much of it is either self-inflicted or because of policies that we
Y'all make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the like button. Hitting the like button spreads the video around YouTube and Google.
Have supported, Democrats that we have supported. I wrote a book called, it's coming out in October. It's called As Goes California, My Mission to Rescue the Golden State and Save the Nation. It's about the one-party rule in California. California has supermajorities of Democrats in the Senate and in the House. And as a result, our schools are near the bottom. People are leaving California for the very first time. We have the highest state income tax in the country. The average price of a home in California costs 175% above the national average, all because of these left-wing policies that are hurting the very people, black and brown people living in the inner city, that people on the left claim that they care about.
Do you think slavery was self-inflicted? Or do you think Jim Crow segregation was self-inflicted?
Why would you even ask that question? Do you think slavery was... He about to go deep with it.
Do you think,
slavery was self-inflicted? Of course, it wasn't self-inflicted, but there are a lot of people have bloody hands in slavery. Mm-hmm. For example, slavery could not have existed had it not been for African chieftains who were selling black slaves captured in battle or captured through raids and selling them to European and Arab slavers. It could not have existed without that. So everybody has dirty hands here. That's why reparations is such a foolish thing. If you're going to get reparations from the 5% or so of white people that have some sort of generational connection to slavery, and that's all there is, then you need to go back to Africa and get money from African countries that were involved in the slave trade and in the Arab slave trade. And by the way, the Arab slave trade was even worse than the European slave trade. 90% rate of attrition, often making men and women...
Now, y'all watch what this woman do. Watch what this woman do. She's retarded. Watch what she do.
Walk on barefoot across the Sahara, and the men were castrated. Only about five.
So if they go after the money from the other countries, then would you agree that it would be okay to go after the money from America? Is that your problem with it?
When are you going to stop with this? Everybody has a grievance.
I just asked a simple question.
I'm answering your question. There's no end. There'll be no end to this because slavery has been part of human history from the very beginning.
When he's saying, this lady, I swear, I don't want to call her stupid. What he's saying is, he was being sarcastic, ma'am. He was saying it's ridiculous to go all the way to Africa to get all of those people to pay us. How ridiculous that sounds. So what he's saying is, ain't no use of doing it here if we're not going to do that. And that is ridiculous. So he's saying this is ridiculous. We need to move on. Understand that no white people today own slaves. And I don't even feel all that way about it like he does. I do believe we are owed something, but not money-wise. I think we should do it education-wise or just wiping every black person's credit. But I can understand what he's saying. What she's just saying, again, just wanting him to say something. Just wanting him to just say what you want him to say. Look.
Okay, now I've let you talk. Sir, I've let you talk. And every time I talk, you begin to talk. And then you say, let you finish.
No,
so I asked you a very simple question. You said, if you're going to go after it in America, go after it in Africa. So if we all agree to go after it in Africa, will you then agree to go after it in America? It's just a simple question. Yes or no?
No, I won't, because it's a waste of time. We ought to be spending our...
Thank you. And my man, Martellus Brooks says, the Breakfast Club need to stop with the emotional responses and understand he is trying to uplift his people with pure motherfucking facts.
Time on education. Okay, you told me that I cut you off, then I tried to answer your question, you won't let me finish.
Go ahead, Larry.
Thank you. It's a waste of time. We ought to be talking about working hard, investing in ourselves. Right now, as we speak, there are Haitians in Haiti lining up for a lottery to come into this country. Why? Because it is the land of the free and the home of the brave. You can go from nothing to something faster in America than any other country in all of human history. We ought to be talking about that. Let me just, one more point. 1997, Time Magazine and CNN hooked up together to do a poll on what black teenagers and white teenagers felt about racism. Mm-hmm. And both of them were asked, is racism a major problem in America? Both of them said yes. But then Time and CNN asked this question of the black teenagers. Is racism a big problem, a small problem, or no problem in your own daily life? This is 1997. 89% of them said small problem or no problem in my own daily life. In fact, twice as many blacks said failure to take advantage of available opportunities is a bigger problem than racism.
That was
1997. 1997. Look it up.
It's 2023, though.
You think America's more racist now after the election and re-election of Barack Obama than it was in 1997?
Yes, because of the election of MAGA, Donald Trump, 100%. Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, how is it, Charlemagne, that Donald Trump got 8% of the black vote in 2016? He got 12% in 2020, a 50% increase. He got 20% of the black male vote in 2020. If MAGA is racist, how do you explain that Donald Trump substantially increased the percentage of black votes the Republican Party got?
Sometimes people make poor
So why are
choices.
you running against Trump then, Mr. Elder?
Yeah,
I'm not running against him. I'm running against Biden-Harris. Any one of the Republican nominees we have would be better than what we have right now. I'm not running against him. I'm running to put forth the issues I just now mentioned that I've been talking about for the last few minutes.
You know, I want to ask you about that. You know, after 4 indictments, 91 criminal charges, don't you think it would behoove to
They're saying these charges and talking about Trump getting arrested and all of this stuff. Let's just look at some logic here, you guys. Ray get locked up for actually shooting the guy, right? Right? Or, matter of fact, let's just talk about Boosie. Boosie get locked up for actually having a gun on his waistline in a lab, where he's a convicted felon. He's not supposed to be around no guns, right? He has this in his waistband, right? He gets locked up. He get arrested. They on the Breakfast Club talking about free Lil Boosie. Free Lil Boosie. Free Lil Boosie, right? And they actually seen the gun. But Trump gets indicted from every which way. I mean, when they announcing these indictments, it's like, you know, the New Year's ball about to drop. We just indicted Donald J. Trump, baby. And the Breakfast Club just automatically condemns him as if he's guilty. Learn and Trade Forex said, love your channel, bro. Keep it up. I love my channel too, and I love you guys for loving my channel, and I will keep it up, baby. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you can get all of the notifications in the future. Thanks. I am here for you guys. That's what I've been trying. I've been meaning to ask my man, and he's saying it like, you know, I just know what the fuck FBA is. Yes, my brother Judah, what does FBA mean? When you put in acronyms like come on, man, just tell us what it means, and I can tell you if I'm that or not. Appreciate that, brother Martellus. Appreciate that.
Republican Party to move on from Donald Trump?
I think that the voters in the primary will make that decision.
What do you think, though? I
have no problem with I thought Donald Trump did an extraordinary job as president, especially for black people. Best economy ever. He did something about the borders. The people that are most hurt because of porous borders are black people living in the inner city, because most of the illegal aliens have little or no education. They end up living in the inner city. They compete against black people with high school or less for jobs. Mm-hmm. There are about 1 million fewer black people working than who would otherwise be working if it weren't for illegal alien labor. And illegal alien labor, according to a study done by the Civil Rights Commission, puts downward pressure to the tune of almost $2,000 per year on the salaries of black people living in the inner city. And Donald Trump gave us the most secure border we ever had. He also supported school choice. He also did the First Step Act, which allowed about 5,000 mostly black men with long criminal sentences, nonviolent, to have their sentences reduced an average of 70 months per. He pardoned Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion. Even Barack Obama didn't do that. Yeah, he did an extraordinary job for black people.
I think you're innocent until proven guilty, but I feel like President Biden had 4 indictments, 91 criminal charges. President Obama had 4 indictments, 91 criminal charges. Y'all would be telling them that they need to step aside and they shouldn't be running for president.
Well, I wouldn't vote for Barack Obama or for Joe Biden in any case, no matter where they...
Thank you, Mr. Judah. I don't know what the foundational black America is. I'm sorry. I just don't know. I mean, you came in as if, like we all knew what you're talking about. I'm ignorant to that. I'm sorry, brother Israel. But yeah.
He had indictments or no indictments. I don't vote for tax spend, regulate liberals.
You're a conservative, right? Obviously.
No question.
What initially made you gravitate towards being a conservative?
I think it was my father. My father was a lifelong Republican, and my father always told my brothers and me the following. Democrats want to give you something for nothing. When you try to get something for nothing, you almost always end up getting nothing for something. And my dad, I told you about his background. He told my brothers and me that hard work wins. You get out of life what you put into it. You cannot control the outcome, Larry, but you are 100% in control of the effort. Before you moan or groan about what somebody did or said to you, go to the nearest mirror, look at it, and ask yourself, what could I have done to change the outcome? And finally, Charlemagne, my dad, told my brothers and me this. No matter how hard you work, how good you are, sooner or later, bad stuff is going to happen to you. How you deal with those bad things will tell your mother and me if we raised a man. I wrote a book about my father's life. It's called Dear Father, Dear Son, 2 Lives, 8 Hours. It's about an 8-hour conversation he and I had, where at the beginning of the conversation, I thought my dad was harsh. I thought he spanked us too often. We had a belt. In those days, from the South, you spank kids. And I thought my dad was way too harsh. And we had an 8-hour conversation, and by the time we ended, my dad got bigger and bigger and bigger, and Larry Elder got smaller and smaller and smaller, and I apologized to him.
Shout out to honest person. She said, I am a mother and a wife, because Judah is just going to war with people in the chat room. What we do to you, player? We just have different ideologies. We still all peoples. You ain't got to go personal with it, man. Woo. We all, Judah, you're being a little hostile like the Breakfast Club.
And it's a book that's changed a lot of people's lives. It's called, as I said, Dear Father, Dear Son, 2 Lives, 8 Hours. The paperback is called A Lot Like Me. Same book, but it's cheaper.
Can you honestly say this is the Republican Party that you grew up on? This modern day GOP?
Yes. The Republican Party pretty much has always stood for low taxes, low regulation, peace, truth, strength.
Let me tell y'all something. I did this test. Tommy Sotomayor did it, so I just tried it myself. What I did was went on my Instagram story and I described what a liberal was, and then I described what a conservative was, but I did not put liberal or conservative. I just put the definition and said, tell me, what definition do you identify with? And most black people identified with values of conservatism. And then when I put it out, said, okay, you just agreed to being a conservative, they got mad at me and said I tricked them. Just think about that.
Not strength through peace and strong borders, and still does. And when Donald Trump is gone, and he will be gone, even if he gets reelected, the day after he gets reelected, he's a lame duck, the party will still go on. The principles will still go on. However, I do believe that many people in our party have spent and spent and spent, so that Ronald Reagan, my favorite president, when he entered the Oval Office, Charlemagne, when he left, government was bigger. It got bigger under George Herbert Walker Bush. It got bigger under W. It got bigger under Donald Trump. And the only way to restrain spending is with an amendment to the Constitution to fix spending to a certain percentage of the GDP, with exception for war and for natural disaster. Otherwise, we're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Let me use the word unsustainable. That's the word Barack Obama used to describe the so-called entitlements. Unsustainable was a word that Bill Clinton used to describe them. But nothing happens, because if you run claiming you're going to reform Social Security or Medicare, the other side is going to accuse you of not caring about the sick, the poor, the elderly, and you are going to lose elections. That's why government gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So we need a law to restrain spending. Otherwise, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And for young people like you, these programs are not going to be there.
Mr. Elder, I know a lot of Black conservatives, and I completely agree about the Black family. I don't think anybody here objects to that.
Don't disagree about that at all.
I think when you talk about ideology and then you mix in parties and then personalities, it gets kind of confusing. And, you mentioned yourself not to moan and groan, that as long as you work hard, all is well. And I think where the conflict is coming in is you did moan and groan about how the Republicans treated you. You did moan and groan about Governor Newsom and, asking for a recall. You did not leave that up to the voters. You are moaning and groaning when it comes to Donald Trump and how he's being treated. So it just seems to be a hypocrisy. And I don't know if the message would land a little bit better if there was some fairness across the board on Democrats and Republicans. I'm an independent, by the way, and I think both parties are trash. And I think all of us here, see both sides. And that's the part that's just not landing for me. There seems to be an unfairness on both sides with you.
Well, not too surprisingly, I don't agree with your analysis. How is it that I did not leave the recall to the voters? What do you mean by that?
What do you?
You said
say
you
that
said you said
again?
I didn't leave the recall to the voters.
No. I said you moaned and groaned about it. You said it should be recalled, correct? Correct?
I said Gavin Newsom should have been recalled. Yes.
Right. That's moaning and groaning.
Well, actually, it's taking advantage of what's in the California Constitution, which is when a certain percentage of voters sign a petition to recall a politician, there can be a recall vote, and there was one, as there was in 2003. We recalled the governor then, and there was in 2021 when I attempted to recall Gavin Newsom. That's part of our democratic process in California.
Absolutely. We agree with that. I'm going to your statement when you said rather than moan about it. A little while ago, you said rather than moan about it, I'm just going to keep doing the hard work. And so I'm just saying that technically is moaning about it because the governor's decided. That's my point, sir.
I don't follow exactly what you're saying. I really don't.
It's okay. I didn't expect you to.
Yeah,
but it's
I'm
one moment.
I'm a little slow
one
sometimes.
moment. One moment, yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
One moment you're complaining about the system, and the next minute you're saying the system is fair. The next minute you're saying it's not fair. So that's what I'm saying. There just seems to be a double standard on you and the system, not wanting to be accountable for a system that Black people are not in charge of, by the way, of not wanting to hold both sides accountable when it comes to the system.
Do I believe Hillary was treated differently and Joe Biden treated differently than Donald Trump is being treated? Yes, I do. Is that an indictment about whether or not America is systemically racist? No, it is not. Those are
they're two totally different things.
Yes,
you're
yes, they
trying
are.
to merge the two, but they're two totally different things.
I agree with you. They're two different things. We're agreeing. We're agreeing. They're two different things. We're agreeing.
No, we're agreeing they're two different things. We're not agreeing that there's not systematic racism.
Y'all know what I noticed about most of us people, our people who, that's why I named my channel. It was intentional to name it the Black Non-Democrat. Because I'm intentionally telling you that when you come to my channel, the first thing you're going to understand about me is I am not a part of the 96% that vote for this stupid ass party. You see what I'm saying? I'm letting you know off break, I am not brainwashed. You see, because most Black people, every Black person is viewed as voting for Democratic Party, for Democratic policies and ideologies. You see? So what you're going to learn about me when you first come to my channel is not what the channel is about, is off break, I am a non-Democrat. That does not mean I'm a Republican, Black, or anything. And people ask me, they say, why you don't talk about the Republicans? Because obviously we don't fuck with them. So at the end of the day, why would I keep on telling you about avocado if you don't like avocado? Why am I keep on telling you how bad avocado is if you don't like it? But I am going to tell you about the apple that you do like, but they snuck avocado inside that apple. Because they tricking your ass. I'm going to tell you about that. I'm going to talk to you about that. But I hate when they always talk about, I ain't a Republican or a Democrat. I don't trust them. I'm independent. But they are still liberals, and all of these people do not believe in any type of right-wing or conservative ideology. It's far left. It's liberal left. So at the end of the day, Charlemagne and this woman, you still vote Democrat. Both of them voted for Biden and Harris, both of them. Both of them. So you might as well be what we're talking about. Stop trying to play semantics here when you know what we're talking about. You are a goddamn Democrat. Charlemagne the God said he's voting for Biden because of Kamala Harris. Not because of policies, not because of anything substantial that they're saying or they're talking about. It's just because they're Black or she's Black. And we ain't even get to the good, juicy part of this yet. We talk about Biden going in on Charlemagne, sunning his ass, talking about if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black.
Because we're not in charge of the system, sir. In case you
Okay, all right,
about the
Can
system.
we?
Black people have never been in charge of any system.
Well,
we're not
actually, we have been. Take Baltimore.
No, we've never been in charge of
may
any
I finish?
system. Tell me, what financial system are Black people in charge of?
Let's
What
take,
healthcare system are Black people in charge of? What government system are Black people in charge of?
I'm about ready to tell you.
What prison system are Black people in charge?
I'm about ready to tell you.
I'm not talking about mayors. I already know that talking point, sir. I go on Fox News all the time as well. So let's not go there with that. I said, what system have we created?
Goodness.
Have we implemented that we have been in charge of? Name one.
Is this why you don't like talking to Black women, Larry Elder?
Exactly why I don't like talking to most Black women. And Charlamagne know that Charlamagne got tired of this shit. For real. That's why he said it. I think he said it in his head and it came out his mouth. I don't even think Charlamagne meant to say that shit. Charlamagne understand what's going on. I don't think he meant to say that shit. Yes, that's why.
Wow. Baltimore. Freddie Gray a few years ago.
No. That's mayors. I'm not talking. I said.
Now, this is the part I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to be cutting this up. I'm almost 2 hours in, baby. I ain't been on YouTube for a long time like this in a long time, baby. I did 5 hours back in 2018, baby. I did that shit. But I will be breaking. I have so much material here. People. Oh my God, I have so much material. But this is the part where I was telling you guys, she's just going to stay on this system thing where he just names all of government officials in Baltimore being basically Black.
System.
I'm going to tell you about this system if you allow me to finish my point.
I'm not talking about somebody elected and doing a job, sir. I asked, what system did we create? What financial system?
Okay, let's talk about the system of one of the largest.
Let him say his point,
thank you. One of the systems of one of the largest cities in America, Baltimore. Freddie Gray died in police custody a few years ago. The mayor was Black. The head of the police department was Black. Number two.
It's not in charge of the system, but go ahead.
Number two person in charge of the police department was Black. All of city council, Democrats, majority Black.
Still not in charge of the system.
Wow.
Like, when everybody is Black, who's in charge then? So this system is just an inanimate object, but it controls is the system just pushing Black people to... I'm trying to understand. He said... the mayor, the police chief, the deputies, the council members, all Black.
That's a position.
6 officers charged, 3 of them were Black. A judge before whom 2 of the officers tried their case, found him not guilty, was Black.
Still not in charge of the system.
The city...
Then who's in charge of the system?
Intendant of public schools was Black. The county superintendent of public schools was Black. The attorney general at the time, Loretta Lynch, is Black, as was the president of the United States, was Black. And yet,
still not in charge of the system.
So who's in
I
charge
asked
of the
you a
system,
simple
Ted?
question, sir.
Well, Wanda Sykes said when Barack Obama got elected, how are you going to complain about the man when you are the man?
Suck it! Oh my God! How you gonna complain about the man when you are the man?
Now, from the president to the attorney general to the state attorney to the mayor to the head of the police department to the commissions of the schools in the city and in the county to the majority of city council in that city, all of them are Black, and you're still saying that we don't run anything?
So who's in charge of the system?
No. I said who created the system. I didn't say we didn't run anything. I challenged a lot of those Black leaders, by the way. I said when we talk about the system, what Black people have been in charge of any system. I'm not talking about a position. I'm not talking about a mayor. You know good
so
well
you're basically saying that they're Black faces that are still in those positions, but they're still being a part of
Similar
the
to you, Mr.
system.
Elder. You're a Black face in a position.
So what she's saying is she's taking the accountability away from Black people who are in charge by it's basically the devil made me do it defense. The system made me do it.
Conservative movement. They're just the same. They're just on the other side.
It just can't be corrupt as Black people who don't care about their own people.
I'm talking about
So then,
we have
so then,
never
so
been in
then,
charge
so then,
of
when
the
Martin Luther
system.
King said in 1966, "I believe there could be a black president in about 40 years' time," then it really doesn't matter if there's one or isn't.
No,
It's one because nothing changes. He was
well,
naive.
the system
He was
also
naive then.
killed him as well. Well, we know that the FBI and the CIA also killed him. That system. You realize that, correct?
Wow. An individual killed him.
Right. That was also a part of Pro Hotel through the system.
What the fuck is a Pro Botel?
Correct?
Yeah.
Not correct.
She just needs to shut the fuck up. Do y'all agree? If you agree that she needs to shut the fuck up, put a 1 in the chat. Thank you.
He was
so
killed.
The FBI didn't have anything to do with it. The CIA didn't have anything to do with
J.
it.
Edgar Hoover was definitely on Martin's ass. Like, come on.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Oh.
Robert Kennedy is the one that approved the wiretaps. But to say that the FBI killed him, I mean, what's your evidence of that?
Oh, no,
that's a pretty serious charge.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Pretty serious charge.
Yeah.
Serious charges
I
require
was
serious
talking about the
evidence.
Yeah.
What is your
Mr.
enforcement
Elder,
law proposal?
It is to allow states to set up commissions of retired judges and retired DAs to get rid of these soft on crime, George Soros-backed DAs that are allowing a bunch of bad people on the streets or not charging bad people to the full extent of the law. And the people that, by and large, that are hurt by these people are the very black and brown people living in the inner city. There's a Larry Krasner is a George Soros-backed DA in Philadelphia. He's been impeached, but this Philadelphia State Senate wouldn't even take up the case. We've had 2 attempts to repeal a soft on crime DA in LA County, and it hasn't gone through yet. We've got a bunch of, in my opinion, this guy, Alvin Bragg, he ran promising to get Donald Trump, and when he got in, he said the evidence wasn't there, and then one of the former DAs writes a book, accuses Bragg of giving Donald Trump a pass, and all of a sudden, he brings counts against Donald Trump. I think it's unfair.
Do you think members of your party are leaning toward fascism?
Define fascism.
Authoritarianism?
Define fascism.
I mean, the rejection of democracy, the rule of law, and equal rights under the law in favor of a strong man, Donald Trump, who interprets the popular will?
No, I don't. There was a long article about Barack Obama by one of my mentors. His name is Thomas Sowell. He's an economist, he's a black conservative, still alive, around 95 years old. And he wrote a piece in which he said a lot of people call people like Barack Obama socialist. Socialism is government ownership of the means of production. Fascism is when the government allows you to own means of production, but government tells you what to do. And he said, frankly, technically, people like Barack Obama are fascists. That is to say, these are left-wing people telling you how to run your business, telling you what to sell, telling you what you can't sell. For example,
do y'all notice the only person that isn't really challenging Mr. Elder is Envy? Envy been quiet ever since the housing thing, right? You want to know why? It's because Envy grew up with a father, and Envy understands, and Envy's father was a police officer. You see, Envy understands logic, common sense, and reason. See, he had to say that little liberal shit earlier so he can be in the fray. But at the end of the day, he understands exactly what Elder is saying right now, because he had a father. And I'm sure his father probably would be like, son, don't you go on there and act a fool.
In California, we have a governor named Gavin Newsom who recently said by the year 2035, no more sale of new gas-powered cars. How dare you? Most people don't want an EV. They like their own gasoline-powered cars, but now you're telling car dealerships they can't even sell them? What do you call that?
Facts.
But what about, when you tell women what to do with their bodies?
Well, that is a moral issue.
And he just repeated something that just doesn't make sense. We're not telling, matter of fact, I'm going to just shut the fuck up. I'll tell her to shut the fuck up. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
I happen to be pro-life, and I believe that that abortion is a sin. That's not telling women what to do with their body. That's expressing my opinion about whether or not it is right or it is wrong. For example, there is a guy right now behind bars in Philadelphia named Dr. Kermit Gosnell.
Y'all ever notice how feminists, black or feminist people, they made up the term, my body, my choice, right? They love to say, got a video on it too, I'm sure you can find it. They love to say, my body, my choice when popping out that baby, right? But they never say my body, my choice when laying down and opening up them legs for that man or that POOKIE or whoever. They always say 50-50, 50-50. At 50-50, we both laid down, made this baby. But you have full autonomy on who you have sex with and who you have baby for. Said baby for. The man ain't had nothing to do with you agreeing to that sex and him trying to have sex with you and you open them legs. That's 100% on you. And having that baby, that's 100% on you. So if it's my body, my choice having the baby, it should be your body, your choice conceiving that baby.
He is an abortion doctor who performed late-term abortions. When I ask people who consider my position to be extreme, I ask them, tell me at what point do you believe pregnancy has gone so far that to terminate the unborn would be homicide? And almost nobody will give you an answer. So in other words, what you're really telling me then is this guy, Dr. Kermit Gosnell, should be set free. He's a political prisoner. He was persecuted unfairly. If you won't tell me when you think...
I think I'm going to make me a sandwich. I think I want a nice little Cajun turkey sandwich with some bacon on it. To be honest person, what are you eating for lunch?
At what point a pregnancy cannot be terminated unless it's homicide, then to me you're essentially allowing women to kill the unborn, no matter how old that unborn is. And I think that's wrong. The other thing, Charlamagne, real quickly on this issue, it'd be one thing if the pro-life community was not talking the talk and walking the walk. But there are literally thousands of pregnancy centers all over America, whether it's funding for adoption services, funding for housing, funding for education, funding for job training, to let women know they have alternatives. And every state will decide this. The government shouldn't be passing some sort of law one way or the other regarding abortion. Every state's going to decide that. I'm in California, which is a deep blue state. There have been 2 initiatives to restrict abortion. I voted in favor of them. I was overwhelmingly defeated. And when abortion has been put on the ballot in recent years, the people that wanted abortion restrictions have lost. The American people pretty much have said, first-term abortions, they want them to be legal. Late-term abortions, they don't want them to be legal. I happen to disagree with that, but I'm willing to live in a society that has a different point of view than I have on this issue.
Can you have a real democracy if you're taking away people's power of choice? If you're taking away people's power to choose and not giving them any options.
Well, if you consider it to be a crime that abortion is a sin, in my opinion, you're not taking people's right to choose. You're making a moral statement about what's right and what's wrong.
I mean, there's a lot of sins, though. Sex before marriage is a sin. I'm sure you did some of that.
As for the sins of my past, either the Lord has forgiven me or the statute of limitations has run out. I'm making a joke about that. A lot of people, of course, make mistakes, yes.
Okay.
And I think that people should deal with the consequences of their actions. And if you let people know there are consequences to their actions, it will inform their actions and make them behave more responsibly. Anytime you allow bad behavior to continue, you're going to get more bad behavior, whether that's...
So how does that apply to President Trump then? Because you said that was a 2-tier system that
because
that's unfair.
I don't believe Donald Trump...
You don't think he did anything?
I don't think he did anything wrong. No, I don't. I believe that he complained about the election the same way Hillary did. Hillary, for 4 years, referred to the 2016 election as having been stolen, her word, not mine. She called Donald Trump illegitimate, her word, not mine. Jay Johnson, who's Obama's DHS.
They about to get political. I just want to skip to the part where it's the most just... He owned the shit out of Charlamagne, and we're going to watch it in a minute. Let's see.
People rock with the GOP then. Like, what are the reasons?
Friedman, one of my favorite economists. It wasn't because of Obamacare, which Joe Biden, for example, when Georgia reformed...
Relations are just...
wrongfully. Where are they?
So you think...
wrong?
Yeah, but the ratio's not the same.
Meth
right,
and
but
blacks?
I gave you the category that I wanted to talk about, and you start talking about drinking. You're just all over the... And I didn't like that either.
Well, you just did.
I didn't like that either.
You just did. You called me a black
either.
face as if I'm investigation without it.
Oh, wow. Wow, y'all. Wow. Y'all know what they did? Do y'all know what they did? Wow. They edited this video. They took out the part when Charlamagne the God asked Elder about, matter of fact, Now, y'all seen me just smidge it through that, right? Y'all seen it. But your boy got the clip. They edited that out. He was asking, Elder, have you ever had your nigga moment? And Elder said, bruh, I know I'm a black person, but when Biden came up here and said, you ain't black if you don't vote for me, you ain't challenge him on that. They edited that out. They intentionally edited that out. Wow. But good that wow, because I'm getting towards the end. I'm smidging it and speeding it. I was like, I'm getting, it's not here. It's not there, guys. But guess what? I definitely got it. And we're going to end it on, because that was my finale, y'all. That was my goddamn finale. I'm glad I took this. Oh, wow. He get embarrassed. And he set himself up. Y'all see it. Let's go to the finale. Boom. Let's go.
Term a nigga wake up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlemagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not gonna say it upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like that. But what I did say,
well, you just not talk about a nigger wake-up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney. Because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
For the record, I'm not a Democrat or Republican.
I didn't say you were.
I think both.
I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation. I'm just saying, but you are black. And to have a white guy come in here and tell you have to say, think a certain kind of way, otherwise you, quote, ain't black.
Woo! Hold up. I got to get into my Ric Flair moment, baby. I'm the high-flying, kiss-stealing, hot wheel driving. I don't know what he say, but he is cooking. He just cooked his ass.
Wow.
How should I have replied to him, you think?
He said, how should I have replied to him? The same way you've been telling Elder to reply to white supremacy, bruh.
What I just now said, how dare you insult me and tell me I think as a human being, let alone as a black person? I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you come in here and tell me how I should think? I'm going to vote for Donald Trump if I want to vote for Donald Trump. And if I want to vote for Donald Trump, it does not make me not black. 20% of black people, black men, as I said, voted for Donald Trump in 2020. Are they not black now? So only 80% of black men walking around are really black, 20% are not?
I mean, you're probably right, but I didn't take it in that way.
Well, I did.
As I said to him in that moment, it's just about me wanting something for my people, and I want to know what is he going to do for my people, and not only for my people now. How are you going to atone for the things you've done to my people?
Right.
That's it.
Right. And this is a guy, Joe Biden, who, when he first got into the Senate, hung out with segregationists, talked about how well he got along with them, talked about how he didn't want integration because of a jungle. This guy has made all sorts of insulting things to black people, and his policies right now are hurting black people. Inflation hurts the people at the bottom more than anything else. Letting a bunch of illegal aliens into the border are hurting black people more than anybody else, as I said earlier. He's opposed to school choice when he has his own kids in private school, and we lost a year, almost 2 years of in-school education in California because of COVID that he supported. I mean, this guy has done monstrous things to black people, and then for him to come in here and tell you how you ought to think as a black person, it blew my mind.
As a
Tell me, look, Elder need to be the president, man. That was straight up freestyle. He did not know Charlemagne was gonna go there, but Charlemagne went there. He got cooked. Shorty say he just cooked a whole pizza on his ass. K.O. knock out. Whoa. Good. Gugga-mugga. Best comeback in argument history. I'm sorry. And you know, we've been talking about this Biden situation. Y'all know I got it. Y'all know I got it. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Before we go, we gonna hit. We gonna hit. Y'all know I got it. You know I got it, like Usher say. Y'all know I got it. Come on. I think I got it. I think I got it, though. Let me see. Do I got it? Let me see. Do I got it, man? But he's going to ask that question to that man, and he wasn't prepared for that answer. And, well, I don't have it. I thought I had it. He wasn't prepared for that answer. And Charlemagne, I guarantee, when he brought that up, because we've been talking about it for about 4 years now, about that comment that he said he just allowed that white man to say what he said. Oh, shout out to Candace Owens too. I'm sure I gotta see her take on this. I done seen the black conservative perspective. Matter of fact, that's what brought me on. I didn't even know he was on the show until I seen that thumbnail. But I didn't know what part it was until I watched the whole interview, because I was going to go back to the black conservative perspective. But when I seen this part, I said, I guarantee that's what his video is about. That's what everybody's video about, because we've been talking about this shit, and Charlemagne has not been asked about this on that show until now. And you see how he folded. You see how he folded, you guys. You seen his foldation. Finish him. Fatality. That's the best I can describe of this. I had fun on today's video and show today on Not a POOKIE podcast. Shout out to all the people who was here, who agreed with me, disagreed with me. Shout out to Israel. Thanks for coming through. It's all in good fun and humor and everything. We all have different ideologies. Some of us have the same ideologies. The thing is, man, we need to do things together to prosper, to move forward, man, because that's what ultimately what government wants us to do, is be divided. That's ultimately what government want us to do, is be ignorant. That's ultimately what government want us to do, is to fight each other so they can continue to run our lives, every aspect of our lives. And we got to break these chains, people. We have to break these chains. Shout out to Breezy. Shout out to Honest Person. Like I said, Israel. Juan Bud. Who else we have? Learn and Trade Forex. Let me see. My man Brooks Martellus was in the building. Sent him the link. He came through. look, man, the thing is, I'm here for you guys. I ain't going nowhere. I just had to get up here today. I got off work this morning. I told y'all I got some of these Celsius up in me. I was ready. I was ready for this show. I was preparing all night long. The thing is, baby, shit. This was a great show. This one, look, I ain't been up here this long in a long time, people. In a long time, man. And, you know, look, this was a great show. Because I seen it last night. I said, oh, my God, I gotta get up here. I got to get up here. I got to. And at the end of the day, man, look, I am not against my people. I'm a pro-black in the real sense of it, not this fake-ass pro-black. I'm not a victim. I'm never going to play victim, and I'm here to give you guys truth, just like my man Elder. I don't agree with everything he says, but for the most part, I do. And I believe in truth, and I believe in common sense and reason. If you guys are just finding me for the first time, please make sure that you hit subscribe. And if you're coming from the Dutch the Creator channel, please make sure that you go over to the Black Non-Democrat channel. That's where I am active at the most. Dutch the Creator channel. It's there. That's my baby. It used to be Dutch Talk TV. But at the end of the day, that's where I'm at. The Black Non-Democrat. I'm here for you guys. I appreciate you guys. We're going to continue to grow this channel. That's all I can do. That video of the mother putting the weave in the 5-year-old's hair should be out as soon as I, get rid of this live and go off that. I'm going to upload it onto Rumble. The Rumble account is in the description box, so you can hit that link. It'll take you right over to Rumble, so you can watch those videos and other videos that I put out every day. Like I said, it's pretty hard to get videos out to you guys on a daily on YouTube, because it takes a long time for them to monetize my stuff, because they tell me I need to get it reviewed because I'm speaking the truth. But if you don't want to go to Rumble and you want to stay on YouTube but get the videos every day, please go hit that join the membership. I swear they will tell you, Miss Scott will tell you, it is a great, the perks are great. So with your spending a month, I mean, I swear, it doesn't even compare to what you actually get a month. That's all I got. Y'all stay unplugged from false narratives like the Breakfast Club just tried to sell you in this interview. Shout out to Larry Elder as well, and shout out to all of the people who think with their mind and not with their emotions. I'm out. Peace.